Does it even matter how men feel? Does it even matter how men feel? Now, that wasn't her question to me. Her question, I'll tell you directly, we're having a conversation about how an ex she used to talk to showed up, and she was reflecting on. We were waking up to how much was missing, the gaps in what her ideals, what aligned for her ideal man, and how he was showing up and what she experienced in the meantime. And fully coming to, as I share in the messages, like, it's not about you, it's not your fault. Like, truly, transparently, releasing her attachment, like really getting to see where he wasn't showing up, where it wasn't for her, and getting past all the what did I do wrong, why don't I get love, why isn't it going to happen again? That's what's at the core of it, right? That's what we do inside of my work. And once we get that and she's able to have an honest reflection, it was a laundry list of how she felt. And when she was just present with herself, it almost brought her to tears because she was looking at how this man showed up and what she wanted him to show up as, the projection of. And the question came up, don't you guys want to make your partner feel happy? Isn't that a good thing? Doesn't that make you feel good to make your partner happy? And I had to give her an honest response. And that's what this discussion is going to be about. Does it even matter how men feel? Let me back up. I am masculinity architect Duwaynelangham, and I'm here as Big Bro, as always, just dropping you the knowledge behind the filters of divine masculine and feminine energy to help you understand and get what you want in sex, dating, and relationships. I come as Big Bro, offering you the man's perspective, the masculine perspective, taking out the sex, gender, and just talking about the divine energies. And when you put these filters on, you get to see what it is that is missing or needs to be put in to just have clarity and have fun with this dance I call the dance. Dating, relationships, supposed to be fun. I try and help people to keep that going and actually get what they want. With that, coming back to this question, don't you guys, men, want to make your partner happy? Doesn't that make you feel good? Isn't that a good thing? One of the base foundation conversations we got to start with is understanding the game and the key elements of how we differ, right? Men and women. And the first thing I have to tell a lot of ladies is men's first step is understanding you. If you want to hunt, if you're out to acquire, attract, you have to know the bait, you have to know what causes the polarity, you have to know how the other works. And for whatever reasons, socially, biologically, whatever, in general, at large, that's not a conversation a lot of women are prone to, introduced to, exposed to, definitely, in today's society. Nothing against us, just the product of, and it doesn't cultivate an environment of understanding from both sides. Men understanding women, women understanding men. And of course, as you know here, there's enough piss in the data pool. I'm not about pushing, the problems over on the other side of the fence, talking shit, gender wars, any of that. I'm all about just people having what they want. When she asked me the question, don't you guys want to make your partner feel good? Yes and no. Yes, in the conversation of a good person, good human being, which is a lot of the current acceptance, fluidity conversations, it blurs the lines of men and women socially, and therefore, a lot of times, masculine and feminine under that. A lot less people even understand the divine energies at play. But if we're just talking men to women, to ask, does a man want your partner to feel good, do things that make them happy? Absolutely. And specifically to what she was asking was about like a weekend activity, just something that she's into and him showing an interest to be into it. Sounds like a normal ask, right? And so I break down the context of, well, actually, no, not for the reason that you would think. For being a good human being, yes. For being a good guy, male, yes. For being a good man and or masculine, the energy, if you look at what's involved, for the polarity and what you appreciate him for, being a man of his own, if it's not something he would actually be into, now not for the sake of you, because yes, he is vested as a good person, as a good man, as a good partner. I want to make my partner happy. I want to show interest in a friend, somebody, my woman especially, people in my village, children, right? There's a context where, yes, masculine is going to, for one reason or another, show interest, be vested, give support inside of what makes his feminine, his women, his children, people he cares about, happy. And if you actually understand to go deeper into that man and beneath that his masculine energy, no, not really. shopping, Bed Bath & Beyond. It's just a random example, right? It could be anything, whatever your thing is. Dancing, anything that he may not be into for any reason, right? Because there's just all of it out there. That masculine, grounded man, a mature, grounded masculine man, because that actually is the type of man that she was entertaining. Mature, grounded masculine man, grounded in his path, leading his life worth leading and worth following. What makes him attractive as a masculine man was not doing that before you entered his life. If he wasn't doing it before you entered his life, and it is something that, for instance, we're talking about life partnership compatibility when you're dating and bringing someone into your life. So this isn't a one-off instant. This isn't a time truncated, just when I'm raising children, I'm going to go to their events. For that time frame, 10, 20 years, 5, 10, 20 years, whatever things at that age, because I'm engaged as a father, I'm engaged as a parent, I'm engaged then as that individual man, person, Dwayne, at that individual level. Same thing for my partner. However, for my partner, that's for life, right? And if every Saturday, if 2 or 3 times a week, 2 or 3 times a month, on a regular basis, there's something you're into that he is not, there's a fine line where it's a concession. And he's just doing the thing because it's what you like. And there's nothing wrong with that. However, again, coming back to that core fundamental, the first thing you have to understand is masculine, or men are conditioned to know that. Now, the more masculine he is, he's going to be on his purpose. He's going to be into himself, self-centered. Masculine energy answers the question, who am I? He's going to be on his path, leading his life, doing his thing. So no, he wouldn't have been doing that before he met you. And now, if you in his life forever indefinitely means the commitment to show interest always. Again, we're talking about extremes, generalities, but I'm giving you a peek into the world of what that man actually feels, and to give a reflection of actually asking the question, does it actually matter, or is it more about how it makes you feel? No pointing a finger, just really getting the big picture, because this is what I had to answer it to her, because it wasn't just a cut dry, oh yeah, of course, absolutely he wants to. No, the truth of it is, does he want to? No, and the more grounded in his masculine essence, the less likely he's going to go all into that. Here's the counter, right? If it's hard to follow inside of, well, that doesn't sound right, that doesn't feel right, I'm sure it doesn't. And on the other end of that, the simp of the spectrum, the nice guy, is the guy with no backbone, who happy wife, happy life, who through all their strategic tests, interactions, influences, and downright manipulation, depending on the individual, that man would be finagled and forced into doing that thing. And he would go along with it, whether willingly or begrudgingly. But at that point, you lose respect, because he's not himself. He's not that man. He's not the man that you met. He'd never done that thing in his life. Not that he's not exposed to it, just not interested, not his thing. And for him to take on and show that effort, it's the acknowledgement that it's not just because you're his partner. There's a level of, is he nauseous at the smell of wine or candles or whatever he's doing for you that's your thing? Remember, whole spectrum. Is it embarrassing for him? Is it confronting for him? And before I hear it, I know it's down in the comments, well, I do things for him that I'm not interested. Yes, again, that good human being. And we are different. Not equal, doesn't make you better, doesn't make him worse, none of that. Just the simple of it, it doesn't work best to come with what you would do on a generic slate of, I'm a human, he's a human, I do it, this is what it would be like, a flip to a mirror, because we're equal, but not the same. And so, again, to the masculine, right? Because if we get to the core of this work, ladies, I'm on both sides of the coin. That is what is actually attractive. So how does a man, another human being, manage that line of ingrained in myself, which is what you're attracted to, which is what you desire, a man who's got a backbone, a man who's got a spine, a man who knows who he is, a man who's grounded, a man who can say yes or no, give boundaries, give you your choice. If you need a partner that does that thing with you, go find the one that does it. And he's the one with the open door. If I don't work for you, that's perfectly fine. Understand. God bless. Love you. Thank you for the time. It's been fun. And the man that, okay, baby. Well, all right. You said it before. We all know the truth of it. Opened the door, had the flowers, did all the things, said yes to everything, perfectly nice guy, gentleman, and ick. Who actually is he? But when you get that firm boundary of no. So again, there's a big picture to the example. How do we get here? Why is it like that? Not just understanding what's at play, but how did it get that way? Look at it like mastery. If you were to do anything to master it, 10,000 hours, you're going to do a thing and it naturally becomes innate. You start flowing in it. You get into that flow state. Michael Jordan, Michael Jackson, Venus and Serena Williams, Tiger Woods. You can see when someone, a human being, does one thing and gets so great at it, it becomes natural, innate, let alone we're talking about divine energy. So over the course of life, while we are equal, we are on distinct paths socially, at least up until the last 5 or 10 years. And all the grown men and women out here can easily attest to being brought up with getting mastery, experience, socially expected to, exposed to, develop your masculine or feminine energy, whether you knew it or not. Universal laws and energies at play, that's what my work is. So inside of that, I invite you to look. And this is why I start with that foundational. You have to distinguish. If you really want to understand the other side, which if you really want to answer the question, does it even matter how men feel, right? You have to be able to consider they don't feel like you do. If you really want to understand the other side, which if you really want to answer the question, does it even matter how men feel, right? You have to be able to consider they don't feel like you do right off jump. They think. So why the yes then would he do it, other than the nice guy, or the no if he's grounded in himself? Because for his life purpose, coming back over to his side, authentically, he wants to cover, provide, protect, cherish for his feminine. Again, woman, children, family, village, loved ones. So on his path, remember, does it matter how they feel? This is the conversation society's coming to now. No, but you want to understand how they think. Feminine feels the connection, the nurturing energy. Feminine feels. Masculine, men, think, logical, pragmatic, facts, data. So to understand men, or your man, does he want to make you happy? Absolutely. Why? Because in his self-centered masculine goal, I want to live this life. Who am I is the question that masculine answers. The world's doing what it's doing. Who am I going to be through all of it? He's leading a life worth living into, makes it easy to follow him. He's already got all this established. He's got his North Star that guides him to, I want to do this, accomplish this, have this. Those are all checklists, data, information. I want a woman. I want sex. I want family. I want legacy. I want intimacy. I want affection. I want this level of lifestyle. All his things that he had to lay out and create. Inside of that checklist and the data of it, well, if you want a woman, go into that subfield, you're going to need to learn women. Remember I said they have to learn that base thing. They have to figure out how to hunt. So inside of that, yes, he wants to make you happy because making you happy fulfills the mission. You stick around, you're happy. Hence, the nice guy's happy wife, happy life. It's all the same conversation for men. This is how we think, but how we feel. Does he feel like doing that? Does he enjoy doing that? That's where it's a deeper question, and it's a different way of processing that can't be just mirrored off of. No matter how much alike you are, no matter how much twin flame you are, soulmate, whatever you want to call it, perfect ideal partners, that man has lived his life doing his thing and beyond fulfilling his mission to make you happy, and whatever level of good person, talking the general conversation of human beings, that's there as well. And beyond that, just understand why it doesn't show up the way it may come as the narrative over here on this side for you, is to actually understand what's been ingrained. I talked about the 10,000 hours of mastery. By the time he comes to maturity, dating, fulfilling on that mission, 10,000 hours later, socially programmed, inherited, indoctrinated into his masculine and ways of men and how society treats men in the world of men. Not good, bad, right, wrong, just the path. As he does all that, he's conditioned in that way to only think that deep. Talking with my client, I feel her into her side to the same thing. Socially programmed down the path, 10,000 hours mastery. What's natural? How does it all feel? What is life is what the feminine answers. So those what is life questions, how could he not want to show up like this? How could he says he loves me. He speaks on this. Yes, because on his side, the thinking is for fulfilling on the mission, for where you fit in, for what he sees compatible so far, so how he's evaluating everything. It works, it's doable, and he does have feelings and emotions to you, and as deep as he can express them, as mature as the man that you're working with, absolutely. I love you, I want life with you. Why doesn't he jump up to go have a date? There's a world of understanding over there for that man, and to really ask, ladies, drop the comments down below, DM me directly if you have questions. I would love to know. I want to open the perspective of understanding because something so core is gonna flip, truly flip how you understand everything inside of playing this game of sex, dating, and relationships. And if you want it to work in your favor, my encouragement is genuinely come to understand the other side. If we all want to be happy, what makes the other happy? As you know, relationships are transactional. You know what you're out to get it. For whatever time, phase, space you are in the game, ladies, you know exactly what you're out to get, because that's how feminine navigates energy, not the gender or sex. Feminine has to use influence. Feminine, to get what it wants, has to manipulate the environment. That is how feminine energy works. So you're very much more versed and experienced inside of it. Let's not kid. The one thing that will propel you into having a truly phenomenal, I'll give you a shortcut, you don't even have to work with me directly. If you want to have a truly phenomenal sex, dating, and mating life, relationships, life commitment, whatever your goals are, understand the other side. And that will give you the said upper hand. And it's not even that you need to master it, you just need to get the basics. You just need to understand they think logical. They don't feel as much. So the questions that you would ask yourself, that you would ask your girls, that would be common sense. It's a sense of feeling, a sense of the feminine energy. And so you just have to appreciate the differences on the other side. But I'll bring it all home to give you why this is even worth it and why it matters for how men feel. Because the more you start to bridge this gap in understanding, that masculine, again, fitting into the picture, is going to want to do things to make you happy. And why? Because a mature, grounded, MGM status masculine man knows that if he makes you happy, not happy wife, happy life, if he makes you free, if he allows your feminine to rest, to ease, to flow, relax, if he can take care of it, he's got the lead. Now, it doesn't mean you just necessarily kick your feet up, but he's got a role for you to play in this design, like in your partnership, everything that you're creating, the life together that you're out to create. If you're out to follow a masculine man, this is what my channel's about. Feminine women looking to attract, align, and maintain relationships with masculine men. If that's what you're out to have, to be able to let your hair down, to be able to relax, to be able to be covered, protected, given provision, resourcefulness, more than the simple surface level conversations. If that's what your goal is, this is where it's of your benefit to understand the man. Because that man who may not be vested in going out to whatever your function, affair, thing you would like him to do with you, if you understand him and if you understand what he wants to ultimately do, ecosystem, is provide that covering, that village, wants to provide the space for you to be feminine, for your energies to yoke off of each other, for you to relax and enjoy. He is puffed up by that. Whatever you believe, right? And I told you I work with high-performing women. I know at the end of all the accomplishments, and I won't generalize, we all have masculine and feminine energy. At the end of the day, at the end of all of it, the goal, more often than not, once you reach relationship, once the life is set, is to relax and enjoy it, to have the experiences of it. If you are a feminine woman looking to mature your feminine, develop your feminine, find your masculine man, that's what my channel's about. That's what you're looking for in life. And in order to have that, having an understanding of the man that will come and partner with you to create that aligns with your ideals, understanding what he wants and needs will help you get to that place. And so what he feels is important. And I hope this opens up a new perspective, opportunity to consider when it comes to men and how they, and importantly, how they feel, because it'll give you access to shortcut the system and have that man that wants to do that for you in place. But you have to see him for who he is and not what you want him to be. Because if, for instance, he doesn't want to do that thing with you, and for you that's a deal breaker, but that same man would love you, provide for you, cover you, protect you, let you relax, give you everything that you would want. But he has his character, he has his boundary, he has his integrity. He's going to stand on it. Once he's had enough, he's had enough. If he's not interested, he's not interested. It's not for him. But if that would, oh no, another day, later, out. And nothing wrong with that. You're entitled to your ideals. That's some of the work I start with. That's the second thing to understand when working with my clients is got to have the ideals, got to have what's in alignment so that you know what to move with, what to say no to because you know what you want to say yes to. But if he were to be disqualified because you don't understand how men operate, you don't understand what you're attracted to in that masculine man on the other side, the yoking occurs because of the opposites, because of the differences. You can go deeper into your feminine because he can go deeper into his masculine. And that is the dance of it all. energetically, spiritually, everything that the whole goal is, ladies. But that only happens when we understand each other. If that ecosystem, if that dance, if that sounds like happiness for you, if that sounds like, one, a lot more fun, a lot easier, and what you're looking to accomplish, I would say the answer to the question is absolutely yes. Does it even matter how men feel? Fuck yes. Because what's showing up right now, I'll give you the counter. What's showing up right now is men turning away. What I'm talking on the other side of the table to is waking men up to the gaps and where they can show up really for themselves, because it's not just about fixing it for the women in the world. I'm about what I feel masculinity is actually meant to do in life, forward progress, and I feel it was stalled out in so many ways, but I'm not on my soapbox about that. The context over there on the other side of the coin is that they've got to step into the same thing. They've got to be the men that you want to be with, those mature, grounded, masculine men. I'm helping you find them, and I'm helping create them over there. But shifting these perspectives, understanding the other side, is going to be the access to that. With that, ladies, as always, I appreciate you jumping in. This one, like I said, off the top of the head, I usually take time, script out, but this conversation was so powerful and poignant when it came up with the client. I didn't really expect this conversation or topic to be in the ether, but it's been below a lot of the content and conversations. These are the things I'm passionate to talk about. These lives are the opportunity where I get to, cherry pick whatever's at the top of my head. Do yourself a favor, go grab a copy of the book I referenced, The Dance. First, if you want the divine energies, I've got that for you. Deep dive into the divine, absolutely free ebook on the store. Go check that out. If you want to know more about the dance, the front to back guide, attracting, attaining, maintaining relationships with ease and fun and play, check out my book, The Dance. You can find that on the store as well. In the meantime, ladies, I'll be right here as always, wishing you the best on this success, being the best version of myself. One could say beyond empowered. Question is, ladies, who are you going to? Peace.